I'm Dan, and this is 10,000 Hours of Indie, a podcast exploring new music and delving deeper into what goes on in the background of the independent music industry. I've been a musician and passionate music lover for as long as I can remember, and spent a stupid amount of time listening to mostly new music every week. Get involved and help grow this community. Follow on socials, Instagram, Blue Sky, Facebook, and soon a YouTube channel too, and email me 10,000indie@gmail.com if you have any ideas or want to get involved in the podcast itself. I'd love to hear from you. Nobody is the working alias of Tuomas Kauppinen, a multi-instrumentalist based in Helsinki who has been in almost as many musical projects as me since I've known him. Playing dark acoustic prog folk, Nobody has just released the EP Saint Devil in the Fields. Prolifically recording, he has self-released all of his solo material with the help of Finnish metal and hard rock label Inverse Records. I first saw him live with his band Thomas Nobody, and have also seen him playing guitar with world music band Eagle de Guinea. Hey Tuomas, long time no see.
Hey Dan, thanks for having me here.
Welcome to the 1,000 Hours of Indie podcast.
Wonderful to be here.
So first up, what influences you to make music?
The pure enjoyment of it and some kind of a cathartic vibe, I guess. You know, the repetitive work that is needed for songwriting is somehow really liberating and somehow opens up some channels, emotional locks and what have you. So it's a therapeutic process as well as just the feel of rhythm in the body. I don't have a good sense of rhythm, but the more loose and more relaxed I get, I can get a better sense of awareness of my surroundings. That's kind of an all-inclusive package that I'm after.
Yep, okay. You release a lot of music. Is there a reason for this? Is it frustration with band projects being slow, or just the fact that you just want to get it out?
Up until this point, the pace has been fast because the songs have kept coming in a way that has felt comfortable. Sometimes they've been too rushed. In hindsight, I should have, worked on them a bit more. But I'm that kind of a person who is impatient in many levels. And this, once again, is part of the learning curve for me to kind of step back and see, okay, I need to take it more slow. And actually, at this point, I am kind of, taking my time more with the songs. So hopefully, I can keep the reins on a bit tighter so as not to just run off.
Is this also because of just having become a father as well? So you're having to rein it in a little bit because of family situation?
Yeah, certainly. That has its effects.
So to me, you seem to have mellowed a lot since you started your solo project. Can you pinpoint a reason for that? Or has it just been a sort of natural, softer side of you coming out?
Well, the whole project initially started as a joke, basically, because I saw this ad online looking for an acoustic black metal band. I don't know if I mentioned this to you before, but it was on a musician's website, and all the reactions to this ad were like, hey, this is a joke. Nobody plays acoustic black metal. You're not going to find anybody there. And the guy said, I'll pay. And I thought, well, hey, I need money. So I took up the acoustic guitar and wrote a couple of, black metal styled songs and actually just improvised the lyrics, just making these nasty sounds with my voice. And I did the gig. I borrowed my girlfriend's mascara and put on some ridiculous inverted crosses on my head and face and, took the shirt off and whatever. I did the gig and then I forgot about it. But then I started to get messages from the people who were at the show, like, we want to get bootlegs of these songs. So I recorded them. Once again, I improvised the lyrics, just, scat, basically. And then, they really liked them. And then I thought, well, I'll just send them out to labels because I want a record deal of any kind, And surprisingly, Inverse Records liked it. So I kept on with that. I made a couple of recordings with that style. But the feedback from the black metal community was mostly not very supportive. They were saying that, okay, this is a fucking joke. You know, they saw through my act.
Surprisingly.
Yeah. They didn't fly that far, you know. I was in the moment of thinking like, this is going to get me really deep into Satan and all this stuff. And then, I had the slap on my face and a reality check like, okay, maybe I should mellow it down. I've always sung clean.
So maybe you just found your sort of natural path more than the sort of fake it to make it kind of.
Exactly. It was a fun experience to have, of course. I don't regret it. I don't think that, it's something to be ashamed of or nasty or whatever. But it's cool to be able to kind of go back to my roots in a little bit more.
Yeah, because the first time I saw you, it was the indie rock band, Thomas Nobody.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's kind of, when I heard that first EP and it was quite dark and bleak, I was like, this isn't what I was expecting from you, So tell me a little about this EP, the themes and things like that. I mean, you've obviously, is it track 2 is a little bit, for anybody who's a Christian, they may not want to listen to that track so much.
Yes.
Again, is it quite tongue-in-cheek, though? I mean,
there's a lot of that slapstick kind of vibe to the thing. And, well, the idea of the name, for example, started with, because I'm listening to classical radio a lot. And there's this orchestra that performs there often, and it's called the Academy of St. Martin in the Fields.
Yep.
And I thought to myself, that's a silly name, like, who is St. Martin and what is he doing?
Why was he in the field?
Yeah, is he lost or, like looking for mushrooms or whatever? So that's so funny. But what if you would turn it upside down, and how would the, occult treat this kind of subject? And then I started to think about, the Salem witch trials and how supposedly these women gathered in the woods and in the fields to, partake in these really cathartic experiences because they were so restricted by religion, which is always a theme in my music, control and religion, very, very, very common theme, of course. But like, it's the only place where you can escape from this horrible, these chains that are around you. So it just came to my mind in that respect. And then nature always is a huge, huge influence on me, like everything you can just experience on a field if you're aware.
I think that's a very Finnish thing, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, Finns love the nature and the forests. And
exactly. Always.
My favourite track on the EP is Pogrom Nights, really? which is a really dark song, I think, lyrically. Can you pick out one song you feel would represent the EP best to a first-time listener?
Oh, it's so hard because I have to admit I never operate on a basis of a thematic EP. I have to admit, because I keep writing the songs, and I kind of think of the modern music scene in the same fashion that it was back in the 20s and 30s before the album concept came along, It was kind of a short-lived thing. Before that, you had the singles come out, you kept banging them out, and there was a B-side or a C-side, whatever, hoping to catch some fire, catch a spark somewhere. So I make a compilation. EP to me seems like a nice length for the modern listener to be able to, skip through a little bit here and there, and maybe there's something that catches their eye. So in that EP, which one I would pick? Oh, I don't know. Perhaps.
What's your favorite song?
It's hard to pick your from your own children. There's a personal connection to each one. I know
I said exactly the same thing. I was doing an interview last week, and I said it's like trying to pick one of your own children and get rid of the rest.
It's brutal, man. It's brutal. Each one has gone through. Well, I guess 8 Bullets of Death, the single, has been with me for so long. I wrote it in Barcelona about 10 years ago. And it's been there, and the melody is kind of thing that I can sing along to, and but I couldn't perform it with a guitar by myself because I don't want to be just strumming. I actually have a gig coming up, my first gig in a long time, this August in Koisarok Festival in Vantaa, and I'm really, I should do a 25-minute set, and I'm really struggling to find the songs that would actually work just with an acoustic guitar, so that it would be interesting. I don't want to be strumming. I want to be playing some, melody and bass at the same time and all this. Yeah, maybe still, even though it would take a whole band to make it sound really good. Pogrom Nights might sound good just with the guitar. I don't know. But maybe still 8 Bullets of Death because of the history I have.
Oh yeah, of course. If it's you've watched it grow up over 10 years. We're back to the sort of your own children thing. If it's taken that long to develop, obviously you're going to be close to it.
Yeah,
Whereas
that's true.
Probably some other songs you've got on there took you a few days, weeks.
Just born, just little babies, and the other one's almost a teenager by now. So.
Well, then the next question was about why you've chosen the EP format to showcase your music so often, but I guess you've just answered that in a way.
Yeah.
Is it also because up to this point you've been so prolific, so you've just wanted to get that one done so you can, almost start afresh with the process?
Yeah. It's so the creative process is so much fun to delve into that song and then kind of keep it fresh, and kind of preserve that freshness. But then again, I also like to go back to the songs that I feel could use some more touches. For example, In the Arms of North, which was one of the black metal songs, the initial stuff, I did a part 2 with clean vocals later on. And actually this 8 Bullets of Death, it was recorded as the letter in one of my previous albums, but I thought that sucked, I needed to do it again. So I could just go back to the song again and again and try to hone it down, try to add my latest approach to it. But to have an album, especially when I'm working by myself, I do have a producer. I'm really grateful for that. It's still kind of a thing that to keep a steady flow of releases, I think it kind of serves my purpose, and maybe the algorithms too, because I remember reading an interview from the CEO of Spotify. He was responding to the artists complaining how little reimbursement they're getting for their music, and his answer was, it was very cold, but still that you should just make more music, publish it more often. There's a solution.
But singles. I mean, I've talked to so many bands recently, and they just say singles are what will get you in an algorithm. You won't get anywhere with an album because people don't listen to that much music in one go.
Yeah.
Yet last week I was interviewing somebody who insisted on making his album in an album format with a side A, a side B, 6 songs each side. The perfect running order had taken him weeks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's those of us who are traditionalists and those of us who are traditionalists trying to keep up with the pace of modern times. And I assume that's the category you fall into.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I love the vinyl, the whole thing of turning it around and holding in your hands. And,
dropping it, scratching it, cursing.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't own any of them. I love it as an idea, but, yeah.
So how challenging, because obviously you grew up in bands, how challenging have you found it to take full control of the music production, etc.? You say you've got a producer now. I remember you telling me previously how you taught yourself to play the drums and watching along with the videos you were posting online of doing that. Because it used to be that you got a new instrument or something, and that's what made the next creative process begin.
Yes.
Yeah, how challenging have you found it to take full control of everything?
Really?
Or do you love it? Is it liberating?
I love it, and it's really hard. It's super hard. Like, I'm going through rudiments with the drums mostly now, and, I have to place the music on a grid, of course, to try to, when I'm recording it, and I try to do live takes, and oftentimes, stumbling all the time. I got the double bass here. I didn't know how to play double bass. I still.
Oh, that's your double bass, is it? Okay, right.
I just bought it, because I happened to have a little money at that point, and I like the warmth of the sound.
Oh, I love the double bass.
Yeah. It's a huge travail, but it's a never-ending journey of discovery. Just have to, once again, try to control myself, not to try to get over greedy with it, not to go crazy on the fills, not to just stick to the meat and potatoes, and try to think of music, as the whole picture. It used to be when I just played the guitar, like I wanted to put in solos here, and I wanted to do this and that, and I wasn't really kind of focusing on what the rest of the band was doing. But now I can really just go back and kind of see, even when I'm practicing with a band, okay, this is what's happening. It's kind of opened my eyes and ears, and constantly is doing so.
I was going to say this EP is a lot more stripped back than, I don't know if it was the last one or the one before, where you had sort of a full band sound.
Yeah.
So what made you do that? Was it conscious, or was it just the way these songs felt?
I think it was kind of a realization of the hubris I was going through at that time, because I had, I have an electric piano here. I can't play it almost at all. I was writing songs with it, just simple, patterns. Then I just had to step back and see, like, really, are these songs good? Can they be performed? I think a good song should be able to be played with just a guitar, with just one instrument, not have to replace layers upon layers of overdubbing and whatever. So kind of have to go back once again, go back to the roots.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you see that maybe the next thing will be bigger again, or?
I don't know. I think now, because I really had to look at my music from a different perspective after this gig is coming up. After I got asked to play the show, a lot of the songs just don't work. I've been twisting my mind. How could I play this with just one guy? I'm not going to get a band out of nowhere. I would have to hire musicians. I can't afford, basically just to play the rent and get new guitar strings. I can't hire some people to practice with me for 3-4 months. I have to be able to take that. And I've been studying, finger style guitar technique more and more, especially guitar music from Mali, where the pincer grip, the thumb and the index finger are playing with the right hand. And there's so much that they can do with just one guitar. You can add the layers on top of that later on, but I want to have songs that I could just go out and play right away and not have loopers, backing tracks or backing bands. So I think I'm in for a big process now, a big mindset change.
Yeah. So everything now is heading towards the gig in Corso, which is
yeah. I want to do it well. I don't want to screw it up.
Yeah. Oh no, fair enough. No, it's a good gig there as well. I've been there a couple of times. It's a good festival.
Yeah. Cool environment, nice people.
As I previously mentioned, you've released a lot of music in just a few years. What do you think is your takeaway? Your sort of what have you learnt from this musical journey?
I think it all comes down right now to my voice, to the melody, and how it can interrelate with the instrument. Just one instrument kind of keeping that pulse. Because I think about those Malian musicians, because many of their instruments, they have only one string. And they could still play those melodies that get stuck in your head. Your mind kind of fills in the rest of it. But there's so much already in just one string there. So that kind of awareness of being able to hear something and kind of leave it unsaid, not having to put a horn section to blare it out in your face.
Yeah. For those people who don't know Tuomas, he went on a sort of voyage of self-discovery a few years ago to Africa. It was a trip with one of your bandmates at the time,
Yes.
wasn't it? And you met a load of musicians from a few countries in Africa you went to. So that's where all this sort of thought process comes from.
Yes, exactly. I was very much rock oriented. Before that, I got my roots in death metal originally, and then this musician, this singer Griot, a musician by birth, by lineage. He invited me to his band and took me there to learn from his relatives, who are all griots. So they all share this same lifestyle. And it was an actual village that was started by his grandfather, built by musicians, serving musicians, very strict, like almost a boot camp for musicians. And they also built traditional instruments there. So I spent all my days just listening and trying to, catch even a small iota of it, but it was a game changer.
Did that help you develop the sort of storytelling style of your songs? Because I guess that's essentially what is the origin of their heritage as musicians.
Yeah, well said. I haven't thought about it that way, because I didn't understand.
Obviously, the lyrics, yes. but it must have at least made you think about that.
Yeah, the mindset that they had these folk songs that are the oral history of the tribe and what have you, and they keep, like Homeric poems too, when you think about it, like they've come to us through all different singers orally, time after time. Everybody's added a little bit of this and a little bit of, each singer has put their own little spice in it, but the backbone, the skeleton is there. So definitely that mindset of being able to make songs that could be translated and given to the next generation, that would be super cool. That is something definitely I need to think about more. So I appreciate you bringing that up.
Do you prefer being solo or being part of a band?
Both, I have to say. Is that an answer?
that isn't, no, it's the same answer as last week, because I was speaking to somebody last week who, through financial reasons, has to tour solo when she's abroad, but she has a full band when she's in the UK.
Yeah.
So she was like, it's just different. It gives you different things. And I feel the same as well. I've played solo, I've played with a band, and it gives you different things. It's a lot more, you're a lot more vulnerable when you play solo, but if it goes well, I feel probably that I've achieved more. Whereas when I'm with the band, I may be the front, but I'm never the most talented musician in my band. Otherwise the band would be terrible.
Come on.
But no, because I always pick musicians to work with who I think are better than me.
Yeah.
Because how would I push myself if I worked with people who weren't as good as me?
Exactly.
So that's my general reason for being in a band with certain people, is they can bring something to the table that I can't do, or just have no idea about, or just never think I'll be able to do that.
Exactly. You're kind of in a tunnel when you're by yourself, and then somebody comes in with a new song in the band, and you're like, what is this? I don't get it. What? And then you start to get into their mind, and it's kind of learning their language.
Exactly.
Sense.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about your collaboration with Inverse Records. How does it all work? From what you've said in the past, you pretty much just take the album to them and they do the promo. Is that?
Yes. That's basically it. They got a great mailing list, great list of contacts all over, and they're doing a lot to get the stuff out. And if they like the stuff, we can get it going. If they don't, but it's very nice to have free hands, in the sense that I can experiment with different styles and not be constrained to, for example, because when I made the shift from black metal to this folkish thing, I was really nervous. I was wondering, am I going to lose the deal? Is this it? I have to start from scratch.
Well, I was going to ask that, because obviously Inverse are known for being a very heavy label. In the most part, they've mellowed back and got some rock bands now. But you're still quite a contrast to the usual stuff they mail.
Yeah, the black sheep.
Yeah.
It is an honor. It is really cool to see that they kind of put this trust in me and faith in me to, be able to be free. And that's, for me, as an artist, is the most important thing, is to have the liberty of expression.
Yeah. So what's coming up next? You've got this gig in Corso in August. I think that's the second weekend in August, is it? It's the same weekend as Flow Festival, I think.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Are you already writing some new songs, or are you really focused on this gig? What's going on?
I got one song in the works, but I'm really not touching it too much at the moment. I'm not even practicing the rudiments with the drums now. So I come here in the morning and I just have a look at the songs. Only 5-6 songs is needed, but I can have a huge crisis just with one note, one pre-hit in a melody, how to make it happen with these fingers, because I'm really stuck with this pincer grip thing now. it just feels really natural for me, but it's a mind-boggling experience. I can just stay in one melody line the whole day and just go home depressed. Maybe I have to drop this song. I have to play Paranoid as a cover because I don't have enough songs.
Do you need me to come along and just shout, play Paranoid?
Oh, please be there. That would be great.
The gig is your main focus.
Yeah, at this point.
So you're pretty active on social media, often posting live practices and things like that. Where can people find you on socials?
Instagram is nobodyofficial666, and Facebook is facebook.com/nobodymetal.
Okay.
So that's all I got at the moment.
Okay. I will include links in the show description.
Thank you.
The new EP, Saint Devil in the Fields, is available now across all streaming services. Thank you for your time, Tuomas.
Thank you, Dan.
The EP is great, so hopefully it will do well.
Appreciate
and hopefully I'll make it to Corso to see your gig.
Wonderful. I hope to see you there.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.